Greetings and salutations. I was just gonna try and read some of the complete Sherlock Holmes Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Like, you know, it has like all of some of the stories about a glimpse into Sherlock Holmes. But that's not really what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about, like, say, TV shows from PBS.
Doink.
PBS. Well, when it comes to growing up in the 90s, sometimes as young kids, we didn't always watch, shows from Cartoon Network, the Disney Channel, or Nickelodeon, like, all the time, because sometimes, we perhaps didn't have cable at that time, so perhaps we didn't have all those channels. So we would watch shows on PBS, also known as public broadcasting stations. Whether it was cartoons or live-action shows that we might have the chance to watch, whether it was shows like Zumafu,
Me and you and Zaboomafoo, come along and see what's new. We're doing the things that animals do. New animal friends to see. Animal Junction's the place to be.
or if that wasn't really your jam, it was something you were really into, perhaps you will be interested in something like, say, Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales, it's almost time for Dragon Tales. Come along, take my hand, let's all go to Dragonland.
So today we're looking at my top 5 shows from PBS. So let's not waste any time. Let's look at number 5, Wishbone. Do you like shows involving, like, dogs or, dogs in general? Well, you might be into this show, which is about a dog named Wishbone.
What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone?
A Russell Terrier who daydreams about being the lead character of stories from classic literature. The show ran from October 8th, 1995 to December 7th, 1997 for 2 seasons and had a movie as well. TV movie. There will be episodes based around literary classics like Faust or even Frankenstein, but in this case, the story will be called Frankenbone. This just gives you a smile, doesn't it? The show had such a charming intro into the show that it's not like an earworm, like say sometimes it gets in your head and all that. But it's such a charming show that it's just like, when you think back to it. Reading Rainbow.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow.
Do you like the soothing voice of LeVar Burton? Well, one show that you might be interested in is Reading Rainbow, in which the show would try to get kids interested in the world of reading and discovering how it can truly open your imagination. The show ran for 23 seasons, with the show being the 3rd longest show next to Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And then the show ran from July 11th, 1983 to November 10th, 2006. Like a lot of shows on PBS, the show was really memorable for its intro, and like, even if you have never even watched the show, like when you're watching that intro, it was just like those little eye works. They'll get to you, like,
It's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
like as soon as you hear those do 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 do, oh, it's already getting to me. So let's move on from talking about books to having adventures on a magic school bus. I've talked about this show before, but growing up in the 90s, this was a show that most kids remember, since it was either, you could watch it on TV, or it would be shown to us in school during, science or biology class.
I love happy endings, don't you? Carlos! A shortcut. Get it? Shortcut?
Carlos, yuck!
Kind of eerie, isn't it? Get it? Eerie?
Carlos!
Plus, the show had a great intro performed by Little Richard. It would also get a revival as well on Netflix, so you can still watch the show whether you want to watch it on Netflix or YouTube.
Surfing on a sine wave, swinging through the stars. Take a left at Jupiter testing. Take your second right past Mars on the magic school bus. Alligator nostril. Climb on the magic school bus. Make a plankton too.
Take that!
On our magic school bus.
So let's talk about let's continue on to the this little trend of talking about science with a science guy. Growing up, you probably didn't get into science from school until this guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter. T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy made science interesting for us, even if you really weren't interested. Whether it was from the sight gags in the show or use of effects when performing experiments. The one thing that I always remember was good old Bill. The one thing that I always remember when it comes to Bill Nye the Science Guy was how he appeared in the Disney attraction Ellen's Universe of Energy, in which he and Ellen DeGeneres taught riders in it about the world of energy.
Oh, here. Better put these on. Hearing protectors. Because it's the Big Bang.
The piggy bank?
No, the Big Bang.
The ding dang?
The Big Bang.
Oh.
So yeah, you may think oh, it's just another it's sort of like an entertainment show, but it was very it got you really interested in that topic of whatever he was talking about. But that's just how I feel about it. So let's move on from talking about a science guy to a classic of PBS. When we think of great television shows on PBS that meant a lot to a lot of folks who will touch you emotionally, when you were growing up, and perhaps even lost those, was the show
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, starring Fred Rogers. The show would, in a way, be when, the show in a way walked so that shows like Sesame Street could run.
By a tree, alone in the world, waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay, that does it. I've been standing out here waiting for this play to make some sense. I don't get it.
Whether he was talking to characters like
King Friday?
I am a generous king. You may have 3 more minutes of Castle Garden time.
Daniel the Tiger, and X the Owl. The show would mix moments of costuming, musical moments, and as well as even, puppets. And one thing the show would also do was Mr. Rogers, would in a way talk to audience on tough topics such as assassination after the death of Bobby Kennedy.
Children have very deep feelings, just the way parents do, just the way everybody does. And our striving to understand those feelings and to better respond to them is what I feel is a most important task in our world.
He would even have, others, appear on the show, like Margaret Hamilton, come on this show to talk about acting. And if you don't know who she was the actress who was the Wicked Witch of the West in the original Wizard of Oz.
Oh, there's your old friend, the Wicked Witch of the West.
How did she talk?
Well, she talked like this. It's very nice to see you.
Oh, that would be fun to be able to talk like.
And I gotta say, Mr. Rogers, also Fred Rogers in this case, he in a way was, a true pioneer to the world of PBS. He even went up to Congress and said, "Hey, I know you're trying to, get rid of the PBS, but I like you just the way you are." And in a way,
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
just appealing to someone's humanity was able to get them funding. And yeah, sorry, I was getting a little bit emotional there, but what are your favorite shows from PBS? I'll see you next time.